I have been a fan of Radiohead my whole life. I had my qualms with their stance on Palestine for a while. I can't hold back any longer,
Right.
Roger, after seeing what Thom Yorke did on stage back in October. This is a year into the genocide.
Yeah.
He's going on stage for his encore of Karma Police, and a pro-Palestine demonstrator yells out something in the audience, and his reaction was so belligerent.
Come up here and say that, right here. Come on. And say what you want to say. Don't stand there like a coward. Come here and say it. Come on.
Oh, gosh.
Okay, you do. See you later.
Would you ever do something like that? And what was your response to that?
Well, I confess I wasn't surprised because, as you may or may not know, I've had run-ins. I had quite a good exchange of emails with Thom Yorke, which it's from a few years ago when I wrote to Thom Yorke and made the case for observing the picket line and observing the cultural boycott and not going when they were going to go a few years ago to go and play, which they did, and they went and played in Tel Aviv.
Mhm.
And he sent me back a slightly snide kind of answer, trying to be funny and clever and whatever. And so I wrote a reply, but I showed it to somebody who knows it, and they said, "Don't send that. That'll go way over his head, and also it'll upset him because you're suggesting that it might be the wrong thing to do to cross the picket line, and that he's wrong and you're right about something. And there's no way you need to put on kid gloves and blah 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 blah." So I did. I wrote him a sort of email that went, "I'm sorry if you thought I was being confrontational and blah 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 blah." Right. And he wrote back and he said, "Normally, people on the other side of an argument at least have the decency or the grace or the something to have a conversation." So then I wrote him back and I said, "Tom, the people in BDS would love to have been trying to have a conversation with you for months, and so have I, and we would love to have a conversation at some time. So when you say that they won't have a conversation, that they just throw shit at you from far away, that is not true. It's a porky pie, my son. People have been trying to talk to you, and you will not speak to any of it." Anyway, the exchange goes on quite a long time,
Yeah.
but it
Well,
just
how did
shows
it end?
that the guy's a complete prick, and he is, obviously, but I think he's damaged. He's very damaged. He's obviously very, very deeply insecure. He's obviously thinks he's very bright, but he's not. So he can't listen to the voice of it. So he can't actually have a conversation. That's why he then did an interview with Rolling Stone where he accused me and Ken Loach, the great British film director, and Brian Eno of being cowards.
For what?
I don't know. You'll have to look at the exchange to figure out.
Okay, I now you have to send it to
Cowardly,
me.
it says BDS, and anybody who has anything to do with BDS is cowardly and shameful.
Oh. Oh, okay. See, this is amazing. I love when people twist and invert reality because Johnny Greenwood, he's married to an Israeli
Yeah.
artist. Johnny Greenwood performed in Tel Aviv this year. You mentioned 2016 Radiohead performed. Johnny Greenwood issued this bizarre, frankly bizarre statement back in June where he
Yeah.
said it's unprogressive actually to support BDS, to actually urge artists to not work with each other. That's very unprogressive, Roger. And so no art is as important as stopping the death and suffering around us. How could it be? But doing nothing seems a worse option. So, Roger, what does he say in solution to doing nothing? He says silencing Israeli artists for being born Jewish in Israel doesn't seem like a way to reach an understanding between the two sides of this apparently endless conflict.
Yeah, well, it's just
So,
bullshit, isn't it? It's complete bullshit. Obviously, there is no argument to be made. There is the oppressed and the oppressor. The oppressed are the indigenous people of Palestine. The oppressor are the settler colonial visitors from North America and North Europe. That's one thing, okay. The oppressed are murdering. The oppressors are murdering all the oppressed people so they can steal their furniture and their houses and their olive trees and their hills and their streams and their water and their land and their birthright. There is nothing difficult to understand. It is not a conflict. It is a genocide, Tom and Johnny, and you are supporting it. We must ban Israel from all international soccer at club level and international level. We must ban them from Eurovision. They should never have been in Eurovision anyway. Israel isn't in Europe. What is all that about? That's complete nonsense. But Israel must be banned. It has to be it has to be sent to Coventry. It is a rogue state, and it is a murderous, genocidal rogue state. This is nothing against Jews. I've got nothing against Judaism. I have nothing against Jewish people at all. I'm talking about the genocidal rogue state of Israel.
I mean, that's what's so
Should be
particularly egregious and offensive, I think, to anyone with a brain, Roger, to be told that it's actually unprogressive to
Oh, it's
support the
so
cultural boycott
stupid.
of Israel and that we're the idiots, right? We're the cowards because what's really progressive and brave is just acting like, yeah, we could just work with Israelis and just pretend like, oh, this is just a seemingly endless conflict. Oh, they'll be fighting forever. But we should just join up, kumbaya, and let's all just hold hands and pretend like there's not an ethnic cleansing campaign. Let's
Yeah, next
pretend
year
that Zionism is not fundamentally a genocidal ideology.
next year, Johnny Greenwood, you and your Israeli wife can go and buy a seaside apartment in Gaza and live with the other settlers there. And good luck getting to sleep, you